Oh, I see it.
Hey everybody, Spider here once again. Coming soon podcast coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. Being joined by another local Texan, of course, right? We have Kelsey. How are you doing this evening?
Hello, I'm doing great.
Now, of course, I've been trying to get you on here, and one of the things about you, you're an actress, so of course you've been busy and you've been doing a lot. So, I mean, of course, I don't take it personal, but I mean, I have been trying to get you on here for a minute now. When it comes to acting, I mean, of course, I was actually in the project with you here locally in San Antonio, where I got to meet you, and of course, I've been a fan. I've been a fan. I've been following your progress, and it's inspiring because I mean, yourself and others that I follow, that are out there and they're actually making things happen. Getting opportunities and actually jumping on them. That's one of the things that I would say it's a biggie because of course if you're not available, then you're not going to be on something. But the fact that you actually make yourself available, you've been jumping on a lot of projects. Um, Man, like I said, I'm a fan. So thank you for what you do and keeping us entertained.
Absolutely. It's honestly so much fun.
No, yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, when we were here, I mean, of course, in San Antonio, I mean, I got to see you perform. But one of the things that I like to do, especially while doing BTS, is actually seeing the progress. Seeing how people kind of get in the zone, how what they do as far as we have method actors, we have actors that kind of want peace and quiet and just kind of get in the zone, come in. Now, when it comes to yourself, your craft, I mean, is this something that has evolved? I mean, how do you do? What is it that you do when you're actually getting ready to film?
Um, Honestly, other than, of course, going over my lines, I personally don't method act. The only time I maybe try to sneak away for some quiet is if it's a very, very, very dramatic scene. Um, Other than that, I don't know. Just whenever, the director says action, there's just something that clicks and like I'm automatically in. And then as soon as they say cut, I can come back out. So there's nothing special that I do right before the take other than just wait for him to say action.
No, no, for sure. And of course, I mean, when it comes to acting, I mean, how long have you been doing this? Because I know I looked at your IMDb, I looked at a lot of the projects you participated in. But when it comes to acting, I mean, were you doing this like in middle school, high school, college?
Uh, so no, actually, I've only been doing this since like seriously since 2020. Honestly, the thought of doing what I do now, even whenever I was 21, would be absolutely terrifying. I would have never done it. But it was something I had sort of wanted to test out. And then whenever I got into the real world after I graduated college, I had a lot more free time on my hands. And so I just would put myself in these like awkward situations where I like would get on set and I'd be like, well, you can't back down now. You're already here. You've already committed. You have to go through with it. And then just kind of force myself to do these things and get more comfortable in the film setting and on set. And yeah, just kind of have grown from there. But no, in terms of everything, even I think I started when I was 23, 24.
Right.
So even yeah, before that, I would have looked at what I was doing now and been like, absolutely, there's no way I'm ever going to do that.
Yeah. You want me to do what in front? What? No.
Yeah. Like, what do you want me to scream? Like, when? Like, why? Like, there's a ton of people watching me do this. It's very awkward. Like, why? But yeah, but
No,
it's fine.
and that's one of the things too, because somebody like at my work, I mean, they know I jump on projects and jump on films as well, but they always ask me if I'm uncomfortable because I'm real quiet. Like at work, like I just go to work and do what I got to do and get out. I'm sociable when it comes to like my coworkers and customers or whatever,
Mhm.
but I just keep to myself. But for me to go out there and get in character, like you said, there's a switch. There's just something that's like, okay, you know what? You clock in, you
Mhm.
go do what you got to do, and then you clock out, and then wait till they tell you to get back on there. But I think for me, it's been the best ones have been where I'm so uncomfortable because I'm
Mhm.
like you said, like I'm like, man, I don't want to do that, But then you're already there, the camera's all right, action, and you're like,
All
boom,
right.
just go, But but it is fun. It is one of those things, and I'm sure you've experienced it because I mean, so many projects. You always run into a lot of the same people, whether it's
Mhm,
like the director, the writers, the AP, or other
mhm.
actors. But I mean, it's kind of like a little mini reunion, because there's people you don't see for a while, and then they pop up, and you're like, hey, there you are. Kind
Yeah,
of,
it's a big, small world out there.
yeah, no, definitely, and that's one of the things I tell people. I mean, the indie world, it's small, but it's huge. It's like if you do something here, like before you know it, they're gonna hear about it in Florida. They're gonna hear about it, because I
Mhm,
mean, good or bad things do get out there. I mean,
mhm.
now of course, acting. I mean, anybody in your family has anybody ever done any like media, TV, news, nothing?
No, well, my grandfather was like a news anchor,
Oh,
but I
okay.
mean, that's, it's a little different. But it is on television, so yeah. But other than that, not to my knowledge, nobody else has done anything like this.
And of course, I mean, when you started doing this, because I'm sure your family, they know how you are, and they're like, "What do you mean you're going to be an actress?" Like, I mean, were they shocked? I mean, of course, supportive, but I mean, what were some of the things that they would ask?
So they were shocked. Of course, they like watching my stuff. Of course, whenever you're first starting out, typically the stuff you're doing is pretty bad. um, so you all share some giggles. But a lot of the stuff, a lot of the characters I was booking when I was first starting out, always died at the end or were killed. And so even now, every time I book something, I tell my parents, and my mom's like, "So do you get to live? Or is this just another one where you're gonna die? Like, what's gonna happen?" And yeah, even a lot of my characters, even now, still either die or are murdered or something like that.
Yeah. And of course, I mean that's one of the things. I mean, I've been killed like twice in a film, indie film, because
Yeah,
of course they were short of people, and they were like, "Hey, man, just put a hat on, turn your back, and we're
yeah.
gonna shoot you," and that's that. It's the name of the game. I mean, use what you have. Now, of course, you've been on a lot of projects when it comes to indie films, to vertical, season episodes. I mean, you've been on quite you've done a lot. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I follow you, and I'm like, man, like that's awesome. But is there one that you're more like, okay, you know what? I'd rather do these more than the other.
I don't think so. I think I have a good time. I think mostly it just depends on, honestly, the script.
Right.
Like now I'm at the point where I'm reading all the scripts that they're sending. And there's a couple where I'm like, this script, it's not really strong. Like, there's a lot of plot holes, or it's just like the dialogue's just really not clicking. So that's mostly where I'm at, because sometimes, like, I know like the verticals are up and coming, and I know sometimes they get a rap because the scripts always may not be the strongest that you've ever read. But like I've read some and seen some very, very well written ones and well performed ones. So honestly, I don't have a preference. It's just whether or not the script to me seems solid.
No, no, for sure. And of course, I mean, with that being said, have you said no to work? I mean, when it comes to like
Mhm.
what they offer you?
Yeah, I've said no to a couple things. No, like where I get offered, I audition for something, I get offered the role, and then they send me the script and I read the script and I'm like, it's just really not, like, it's not either the type of person I want to play, or it's just like the script in general is just it's not, it just seems like not a good script, right? It's poorly written. So I'm like, you know what, thanks for the offer. But I'll probably just like pass on this one, and I wish you luck.
No, you see, and that's I'm glad you said that. I mean, not just because I don't want you to say no to work, of course,
Yeah.
but also because it's okay to say no. I
Yeah.
mean, people are always like eager to jump on everything, and I'm like, okay, in the beginning, I get it. You're trying to get your feet wet, get experience, but I mean, there's people out there. I mean, like you said, I mean, there's scripts, there's things that you don't want to do, and of course, like for me, like people they always ask me like what I won't do, and for me, it's like if it's something that I can't sit down with my family and watch, I won't do it.
Mm.
I
That's
mean,
fair.
horror films all day, but I mean, it can't be. There's an extreme. Like there's some like just some stuff I won't touch. But that's just me. I mean, of course, there's different genres when it comes to horror film, but
Mhm.
each their own. But yeah, I have limits too. You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just like it's not, and then it's uncomfortable to perform. Like if I'm reading it, also what I look at when I read a script is like in my role in particular, how awkward is the scene? Because there are still points for me that I consider that are just they're too awkward for me to film. How am I going to film this without being, the absolute, like I'll do ridiculous things, but there's a limit. And some of the stuff is just like, I read it and I'm like, how are we going to do this? It just seems super awkward. It kind of seems unnecessary. So it's just like,
No, yeah, and of course, when it comes to film, I mean, not everything makes it on the movie. I mean, you know that,
yeah.
you know, there's a lot of stuff when it comes to, you know, when they edit. But yeah, but I mean, like you said, you don't want to be in an awkward, you know, situation where you're like, okay, you know what, like I'm not feeling it, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, for those watching, of course, you know, like you said, there's a lot of roads, there's a lot of script. One of the things, I mean, for myself, I always tell people, because there's just roles I know when they post them up there, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not 5'10", I'm not 5'12", you know what I mean? So I already know like what they're looking for. But
Mhm.
you know, I've been said no, you know, I audition like crazy, and it's like, I mean, I get said, you know, as much as people say I jump on projects, I'm like, man, there's a lot more that I don't get, you know, and that's okay.
Mhm.
Like I'm cool with that, because I submit, I audition, and I do my best, and I just move on, you know. But
Mhm.
you know, for the younger generation, you know, for you guys that are out there actually making this happen, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't regret not starting early, because you know, I had kids and I had priorities. So it's like, now that my kids are grown and have dogs that, you know, can tend to themselves for a while. But yeah, you know, it's just the timing. But I mean,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, you know, congratulations on everything you've been doing, though. Great job.
Thank you.
Now, let me ask you, because recently you have posted, you started taking stunt classes.
Yeah, so I took a couple of them starting in, oh gosh, almost 2024 now.
Oh,
Um, and then it's just something that I like will continue. The studio, the organization is called Action Pack up in Dallas that I was going to. He just told us that he got offered a pretty nice little job in Florida. We're doing some action studios there, so congratulations to him. But now I have to go out and find anyone. But it was something I got into knowing, not because I wanted to do stunts, because I don't think I'm that flexible, and like I'm older now, my body's not. I'm gonna get hit. I'm just gonna not get back up. But I wanted to be able to do some basic stuff on camera. So the first class that I took was a high falls class, learning how to jump off things like second story balconies and stuff like that, and build your own what we call box catchers, which are just cardboard boxes
right.
that you can jump onto that'll catch you. And then about 2 weeks later, I booked one of my lead roles where I play the lead villain, and I got to apply that because I fell off some stairs. Originally, I was supposed to fall off a balcony, but the house we were shooting at, there was no safe way to fall off this balcony without smacking a wall. Um, so I rigged it up so it looks like I fall down a full flight of stairs. And so it was just really neat to use that, what I had just learned, and to put it into practical effect. And before the shot they wanted, they're like, well, we're going to make it look like she pushes you, but you're going to hold on to the rail. And I was like, oh, that's not going to sell. But like in the final shot, you can literally like see me get air, and then you see the stairs. So you're like, they're like, how, it just sells it better.
Yeah.
So that was really why I started taking the stunt classes.
No, no, for sure. And I was gonna say, I mean, you said, you know, you're getting older, but I'm like, not all of us can be Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah, no,
I mean,
not all of us.
jump.
Yeah, he's dedicated.
No, yeah, yeah. I mean, that guy's something else. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm kind of. It's cool that you're able to use shows to do that, because, like you said, it's not because you want to be a stunt actor. And of course, you know, props to everybody that does that,
Oh
because
God, yeah,
you
yeah,
know it's definitely a job, and not many of us want to do it. So
yeah.
you know, kudos to them. But the fact that you wanted to do it just to kind of try it and do the basics, or you know, like you said, if
Mhm.
they're like, hey, we got to finish the scene, and you're like, you know what, let's do it. You know,
Mhm.
team player.
Yeah, that, and then I think I did like an actual full stunt class as well, with like fighting and like swords and broadswords and everything like that. And then I did use also the high falls again because I did another short film, where like I fell off a fence. Like I climb up a fence and then I fall off the top of it. So again, it just really, really helps. And it's like not really a high fall, truly. But like if you don't know how to the proper technique, like the proper, proper form, like you can seriously hurt yourself. And so it's just really super nice to be able to do that and not bust my shoulder or smack my head or something like that.
No, yeah, because I think like for me it was like earlier this year, maybe even late last year, where they offered me a role and they were like, "Hey, you're gonna play law enforcement," and I said, "Okay, cool, man. You know, I got like
Yeah.
wardrobe outfits and stuff." But he said there's gonna be a little bit of stunt work, and I'm thinking, okay, and I'm like, and so I went back and I'm like, well, what kind of stunts? And he's like, oh, there's this like 6 foot defense that you got to leap over. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can't. I don't think I can do that, man. I've thought about it, and I'm like, I went outside and I looked at my fans, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm gonna
You're
need
like,
to.
yeah, I know.
But it was gonna be for that weekend, so it's not like I had time to practice. But I was like, so I said, you know what, like respectfully, man, I said I don't think I can do that. I said if I had time, I said, and now I do. I'll say that. I've actually been doing a lot of plyometrics, isometrics, jumping over fences because that's one of the things that I'm like, you know what, I just want to get over that fear again because I hadn't done it
Yeah.
since for years, but it's just like little basic stuff. Like I don't want to do what you're doing, but well, maybe I would try it, but yeah, like you said, precautions and all that. But it's just like
Yeah.
I want to be able to at least if they're like, hey, you fall here, and I'm like, okay, I can do that, fall down
Yeah.
and roll or whatever. But
Yeah.
let me ask you, when it comes to being an actor, actually being an artist, right? Because this is what you do. Music, always incorporate music. Is there one style, one sound that you're like, okay, you know what, I got to listen to this before the day or before you film?
Um, no. There are like songs that like for me personally, they tug not really at the heartstrings, but they just like they hit a certain part of my brain that will make me sad. And so maybe if, but there's not one particular genre. But maybe if like I like it's a scene where I have to go cry, then I'll listen to it because it'll make me, I don't want to say depressed, it'll just make me sad, super, super sad. And then
Oh,
I'm like already in it. But I don't have like a specific like playlist or song that is like a hype song for the morning. Um, it kind of just depends. And then like if I'm at my house, it's whatever I ask Alexa to play something and it's whatever she
oh,
puts on. So that's what it is.
no, no, for sure. Now, let me ask you, when it comes to, of course, being an artist once again, I mean, was there anything that you were doing before? I mean, were you writing? Were you doing photography, videography?
No. No, nothing in the nothing else in the creative arts.
Okay, okay. You see, now
Yeah.
I find that interesting. I mean, because yeah, so you were, I mean, not to say you were just home doing nothing, but I mean, of course, you were living life and you were like, I want to be an artist. Oh, I want to
Yeah.
be an actress, and just, that's pretty, how did you approach that? I mean, who did you contact? I mean, what was your first, like, who did you talk to first and say, hey, I want to do this? Like, how do I go?
So, like nobody, right? So the way that it happens, or the way that it happened for me, was basically what I wanted to do really was get into commercial modeling. I wanted to be like when you walk into Target or Walmart, like I wanted to be the lady like on the sign, like in the clothing. And so I was like, oh, and I had more free time than in college because in college all I did was study.
Yeah,
And so what I did was I like did a Google search as one does, and then kind of started with the basics. And I was like, because the way that I kind of did it was I started more or less in like modeling and then like transitioned to acting.
right,
And so I like looked up the basics, and they were like, oh, well, to start being like a serious like model slash actor, you have to have a portfolio and a reel. And I was like, well, then how do you get this stuff? And, found myself going to the Facebook groups, learning off of that. And then also one of the big ones that helped me get some very like beginner stuff for like my acting reel and stuff was Backstage.
yeah,
And I know a lot of people who have either like grown up in acting or now, serious actors will be like, oh, Backstage. But like, honestly, if you're starting out, it has some really good like TFP opportunities for you to try to just build yourself up
right,
and to like so like one of the reasons I think I did okay is I adapt pretty well. So like if I go on set, I'm not necessarily on my phone or reading a book or zoning out. I'm watching people and I'm learning what's happening and what they're doing and how things work, right? Like
right.
that's Like when you're on set, that's the first time you really realize, like a big set, you really realize like the AD runs the show, or you're like watching and like you have a PA for this, or you have, you know, whatever, what, like learning, and also learning the lingo, right? Like what's crafty, what's all these other different things that people are shouting. And then I was doing some student films, which even though they're free, honestly, the quality is top notch. If like some of the stuff on my reel today is still from student films because it just has better quality, because they have high quality stuff. They're learning too. But because they're also learning, they're really excited to use the lingo. So they'll be throwing out way more stuff than like what you're going to hear on like an actual set.
No,
So
it's true, you know. But you
yeah,
know, I mean, that's one of the things I always tell people is, I mean, when I'm out there, like I also like, I mean, they like me when I go on set because I'm paying attention, I'm waiting, you know,
yeah,
I'm trying to see what they do because they're just flagging us down or telling us like, you know, go ahead,
yeah.
you know, keeping everything going. And that's one of the things. I mean, of course, I always leave my phone in my bag. Like I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm there to work, and because of
Mhm.
that, like I've been used quite a bit on set, and I'm happy for that because you know while everybody's out there, phones ringing, and they're just like telling them to go wait in the back or whatever, you know, like they're putting me up front. I'm like, all right, cool, man. You know,
Yeah.
opportunity.
No, they will. They will. Like I did. I've done. I personally don't care for extra work. However, I have gotten extras work on bigger sets. So again, I could learn. Cause like whenever I first did a big set, I had never been on a set where the crew was like 150 people, where
Oh
they
yeah,
had like extras holding, where they had all that other stuff. So I went there to learn. But because I was paying attention, I got used way more because the PA who was in charge of background and however that works kept snagging me because like I wasn't always at crafty or always in the bathroom or always doing whatever, shooting the shit with the other people. So it definitely pays off. And you know, and again, like, you know, did they pay me? Sure. Was I there to really get paid? No. I was there to learn. And that's like the most important part is taking that away.
no, no, I agree. You know, especially with the bigger sets because we did one in Austin, and you know the producer, I think, because they were like, hey, you know what, we need to move this out of the way, and out of instinct I get up and I start pushing. It was a pool table and I start
Mm.
helping, and the guy's like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? And I'm like, oh well, I'm gonna help. And he's like, no man, you're an actor, sit down, we got
Yeah.
people for that. And I was like, what the hell? Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, like it made me feel a little a certain way, you know, but I
Yeah.
get it, you know, because there was like 15 plus, man, just for one crew, and then they still had everybody else, so it was a big set. But
Yeah.
it's one of the things like, you know, that you have to pick up as well as the lingo because yeah, you know, they're telling you something and you're standing there like a deer in headlights, like what does that mean? So definitely, but it is experience though, and you get to see how everything works. You get to see the process when it comes to, you know, the whole hurry up and wait. You know, I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, you know, so it's a good thing. I mean, I like it, and it's like for myself because I think you know you went to acting school, right?
I did not.
Oh, you didn't?
No, 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 no. I
Oh
learned
man!
everything that I know is on set. I have learned from on set.
Wow,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. So
No,
everything like I learned how to do other than the real like I've taken like like later some
right,
audition acting classes and
right.
then just the stunt classes, and those are the extent.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
No, and I was just gonna say because for me, like you were saying earlier, like paying attention, learning, like that's my school. Like I'm doing that
Hmm.
because I'm like I don't have time to go to school. I'm already at that age where I'm like I got to do this now with what I have, and that's it, you know. But yeah, you know, it's a process. It's a lot of learning, a lot of getting used to, but at the same time, you know, you enjoy doing that. I mean, why not? You know?
Yeah, it really is a lot of fun. And then the only other thing I do is I really like if I see whenever I'm watching movies and TVs as it does, it kind of ruins it sometimes because you're thinking, well, how did they shoot this? Why did they, you know, whatever, all the logistics of it. But really like focusing on actors and like their performances and like how they differ from mine and then like what I could take away from it. I think I got on like a 21 Jump Street kick, the original one, with Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah,
And in it, you know, other than watching him because he's very pretty, he does a lot of like everyday normal ticks.
Yeah.
like biting his nails or twirling hair or like doing stuff that like as actors on set, typically we try to be like very still and we forget about doing those types of things or that that's normal to do. So it was really interesting to like notice that. And then in my short film that we are still filming, we have one more day left that I'm doing now. I've started kind of playing around with it a little bit in terms of like adding the normal ticks, right? Like one of the scenes I just did, um, one of my friends gets up off the couch, like we're talking. She gets up off the couch and she leaves. And then I sit there and I start to like pretend to like bite my nail or fidget because that's what I would do. I wouldn't just sit there when my friend's gone and be like looking around,
Yeah, like,
right?
oh,
You're doing like normal stuff. So I feel like that's like been super helpful too, is to look at people who are very, very good actors. And they're not always famous. There's good actors everywhere. But to see like what they add to their character and try to see maybe in the future if you incorporate that somewhere else.
no, no, for sure. I agree because I mean I learned a lot from watching you guys, from watching reels, from watching people there while we're actually filming. And I mean I learned from the actors, from the directors, from the producers. I mean from everybody, and I'm kind of like, okay, I like that. Like I'm gonna use that, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that when it's time to go. I mean, see if whether or not they like it. We hope so.
Yeah.
But that's it's always great to go back to though. Yeah,
Yeah.
that changes a lot of things when it comes to. I thought you did go to school, so that's pretty cool. Now,
No.
because of that, I mean, let me ask you this: when it comes to
Mhm.
acting, because you do have a lot of scenes where you play the bad girl, like the evil.
Yeah.
So is it easier for you to do that than to play like a nice person?
Um, I don't know. I think I have a very natural resting bitch face. And I think people like it. And I don't know. I think it's just like the dialogue really, the way that it's written really just brings it out. Like it's really just easy just to slip into the villain.
Right.
I have a feature coming up that I'm going to do where my character is also considered the antagonist. But she has a little more of a psychological aspect to it. And so it'll be a little bit different because I won't be playing it like the mean girl. It has to be more of like there's a deeper, psychological aspect to it. So I think that's going to be a little bit different for me. Still the villain, but not like, I'm just mean because I'm mean. I'm mean because I'm psychotic. Um, but I don't know. I mean, I do like playing the hero. When I was a little bit younger, I think I had a little bit more of that innocent type look to it. But I think now that so many of my reels that are out there are me being mean and, slapping people or getting slapped or whatever, that now like it's a little bit more difficult to look at me as like, oh, the little innocent girl who's never done anything wrong. You're the main guy like once, right? So
No, for sure, and that's cool though, man. Because I mean, that next role, like you said, it is going to be for a feature. So was it certain people that you studied for that, like
certain
actors?
people, no.
Actors.
I used because I work in healthcare, so I used some real life examples. Yeah,
Okay,
that
yeah,
I've seen. So it's I meet a lot of people generally daily, usually at work, whether it's film work or like work. And so usually I can with my characters, I've seen almost every type of personality out there, so I can pull a little bit from that. If it's not my physical personality.
right.
So yeah, that would be. I've seen a couple people with the way that I'm going to portray her, and we'll see.
No, yeah, and that's one of the things. I mean, because life, you do
Yeah.
experience a lot, I mean, especially in your profession. Because like I'll be 52 this year, but for me, it's like, I was a letter carrier for like 15 years. I used to work, I mean, I've worked tons of jobs and I've worked around a lot of people. But yeah, I've been like you, like I've been around, nice people, great people,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
awful people, and it's just like okay, like I still hear the voices, and I'm like, oof, just kind of not wanting to be around that. But yeah, it's always good to pull from experience because it's just like you mentioned earlier. If it's a crying scene, like you always got to put yourself mentally in that, like in the song or in the
Yeah.
memory, kind of
Yeah.
bring those tears out because. Like I've tried that, and I'm like, oh man, I can do that. Like I've tried it with a few, I haven't had to cry in front of anything, but I was just curious, and I was like, man, And I just think about some of the things, and they don't even have to be sad. They can be like great moments. And I'm just like excited. And I remember being happy and thinking, oh man, like that's a memory that I just held on to. And it's like, like when my daughter, my youngest was born, um, like, well, I'll say this, like my mom, my grandma, uh, my great grandma was African American. Like during the whole
Mhm.
slave trade, they fled to Mexico, to escape slavery, right? But my grandma used to have like an afro, like she had like kinky hair, man. And my mom wasn't as bad. So
Mhm.
when my daughter was born, my youngest, like she came out and she had like a mini fro, right? And nothing wrong with it, but I was like, oh man, like I was just like, that's gonna be exciting. But then she grew it out, But even now I'm starting to tear up. But it's just like, I mean, it's that moment that I was just like, okay, like she got that gene, right? But
Mhm.
but it's just like moments like that. Like I always just dig from it and I just hold on to it and I'm like, okay, what watch the tears fall. Now, let me ask you when it comes to projects, because you said you do have a feature, have modeling. Did you get into that? I mean, did you actually start modeling like as a profession?
Um, like maybe commercial.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff that I've done has been like healthcare related.
Oh,
So like scrub companies. I had one that I did in 2024. It just took a while because the FDA had to approve it. It was for a defibrillator for a pretty big company, Zoll, who does a lot of different medical equipment. I did that one, but that was like a mix between like modeling and commercial.
right.
Um, but mostly like I don't really do a whole bunch. Like I get submitted for some commercial stuff mostly. But I don't really book anything really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 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 I hear you. Now let me ask you, because when it comes to doing commercials, because that's one of the things a lot of people, I mean, a lot of actors don't want to do them. I mean, of course, it's an
Yeah.
opportunity that's,
Yeah.
they're out there, but I mean, is that something that you personally just don't see yourself doing because you don't want to get caught in that, or is it like film more, you get more freedom out of being an actress? I mean, why is that?
I mean, no, I am totally open to commercials.
Okay.
Yeah, like yeah, I just, that's just not something I book. But also like, you can sit there and you could get depressed because you're like, oh, I submit to all these different commercials and I don't book it.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, like the number of people that are applying to these things is just insane. And so, I always, every time I get an audition request for whatever project, I'm always happy because it means that at least the casting director liked my look, liked my reel, liked something. Um,
Bring you back.
and I can at least know that like I'm being pitched. But honestly, name of the game is to submit it and forget it because if you don't, you'll just get depressed that you're not booking anything. Or you'll
No.
be like, I turned in so many auditions and like nobody wanted like, oh, well, eh. Like, I've kind of pieced together that I make a lot of like either finalists or like callback lists. And then like, maybe the director liked me, but the studio, they just, they either didn't like my look or maybe they liked whoever they chose better or whatever. And then, of course, they have the final say. So, like whenever I get emails from people, and it's rare, but casting directors will send them out sometimes saying, you did really well. We had you on the final list. Like, even that's very encouraging because it just doesn't mean that I'm submitting an audition and like, oh, that girl's crap. She can't do anything. And like, they're not even looking at it. So, like, that's still very encouraging to know I'm still, doing okay. So,
No, sure.
yeah.
Yeah, because there's a few that I've gotten, and they'll email me and we're like, "Hey, you know what? We're doing this. Like, we'd love to have you back." And I'm like, "All right, cool, man." Like, it's just
Mhm.
personal, but it's just makes you feel a little some a certain way. But yeah, I mean, of course, submitting to auditions and doing video and everything. I mean, it is the name of the game. I was gonna ask you about this because that's one of the things I brought up the other day with a director. When it
Yeah.
comes even for actors, I mean, I've seen there's a lot more people out there trying to do this, and it's just like, okay, you know what? Like it's I don't know if it's gonna be I don't want to say overpopulated, or I don't know what the word is, but I mean it's gonna
Separated.
be, yeah, because it just seems like now as soon as they post something on
Mhm.
social media, like I even had to ask people to stop tagging me because I was like, man, don't tag me. Like if I get something like that, I see it, then great, but I don't want to be like fighting for it. I mean, I work, I have a great job, and
Yeah.
I'm not doing, acting full time, but I mean, it's ran through my head where I'm like, you know what, like at the thought, like I wouldn't mind, but one of the things I tell people, I said, when it comes to acting, I mean, you got to work 5 days a week. I mean, you got to get paid, because if you don't work, you don't get paid. So it's like, it's a lot of, I mean, it's probably a lot more work just trying to get work, I mean, for me, my job, Monday through Friday, I already know when I clock in, clock out, but
Yeah.
to do the whole acting thing, I mean, there's people out there that, are retired doing this, great for them. There's
Yeah.
people out there that get help, financially, and good for them, I mean, but for me, it's just more like, you know what, if I catch it, and great, I'll go out there and do it. But, I just don't want to be chasing it like it was at the beginning, because now it's like starting to feel like work. Where before
Yeah.
it was fun.
Well, the way that I like to describe it to people, right, is I'm like, I have two jobs. I have like my job that pays the bills and everything like that, and then I have acting, which is like a volunteer job, an unpaid job, mostly 75%, and then when you book the role, then you get paid. But like most of it, you're paying them. So, and then it's just like it's nice though, because like for the most part, you want to have a job so that you're not that starving artist, right? You don't want to, that way you don't ever come off desperate. And some people thrive on that type of lifestyle, which great. I could not. I would be so stressed all the time that I would just be like turning in stuff left and right with no like actual physical care. Or I'd be like, oh my God,
Right.
I gotta get this job or else I'm not gonna eat or blah 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 blah. Like, no, that's just not
No.
the type of lifestyle I want.
No, no, for sure, and I agree. I mean, there's people, like I said, there's people out there, and there's a lot of guys. I mean, that I know that are doing it full time, and I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
cheering for him. Like,
Yeah,
those are
you're
the
like,
ones that,
good.
yeah, because
It's
I'm like,
hard.
I'm tagging them and telling them like, hey, man, because I know they're doing this full time, and it's like, if I get something great, but it's like I don't want them to to be without. I mean, this is a full time job, and it's just, but yeah, but I mean, there are a lot of projects dropping, like on a weekly, and it's like, I mean, here in Texas, it's starting to pick up quite a bit. And one of the things I noticed, because even the castings, like they'll email everybody, and then you're thinking, okay, I auditioned, I did this, I did that, and then like the next day they're like putting it on all over
I
social
know.
media. You're
Uh,
looking for people, and I'm thinking, dude, I just auditioned, bro. Like, so, but I mean, they know who they're looking for. So yeah, whoever
I
gets it, great
know.
for them, and make it happen.
I know. My thing is whenever they email out deadline extensions after I worked really hard to get it in by the deadline, and then I'll submit it and they send out like an email like 5 hours later and they're like, we're extending the deadline for 2 more days. And I'm like, oh my God.
I did that one day. They sent it to me late at night because I was already asleep. So it was probably like
Yeah,
10 something. But woke up at 4:30 in the morning, and I see my email, and it's like, oh, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, I'll submit, and it's like deadline like 10 a.m.
I
And I'm
know.
like, yeah. So I'm like having to put my dogs out and go in the room and put the lights, and I'm like half asleep, and I'm thinking, damn, but yeah, then later on that day, you see I'm like, oh, we're extending it 2 days, and I'm like, all right, cool. Mine's already in the mail, so see what happens.
I know. Yeah.
Now, earlier, I mean, I had asked as far as creativity. I mean,
Mhm.
writing. I mean, is this something that you would be interested in doing? Like maybe even like writing your own script, writing your own film.
No, I'm not skilled in that. No, I have a couple friends who write scripts and they're really, really, really good at it. No, I just don't think like that. I'm not gonna, yeah, I don't really think like originally. Like stories don't just like, because these writers that I know, right? They're like, oh, I went to I don't know, the grocery store and I saw this happen and I had this whole script that just like popped in my head. Like, I don't have that.
Yeah. You see,
So,
well, let me say, I mean, with that being said, if it was something that you could pitch to your friends for them to write, would that be something like you're like, hey, you know what, I was thinking about this. Like, what do you think? I mean, would that be like something you would be willing to do? Like, pitch them ideas?
yeah, if I had a topic that I thought could cover 30 minutes to 2 hours, maybe.
Okay,
But
and
yeah.
the only reason I'm asking is, I mean, if this was something that you were like, hey, I was thinking about doing this, like, what character would you be thinking? I mean, of course, it would be the idea that would pop up, but
Yeah.
like for yourself, would you be thinking, okay, I want to be the hero, like, I want to be like, you know, I mean,
Um, I I wouldn't say that I would always want to be the hero in it. I think it would be whatever character I liked the most.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
makes
So if I was like, oh, I have this story idea, but I really like the antagonist, the villain of it, then I would want to play her. Or if I had this other story idea and I was like, but maybe there's not really an antagonist. Yeah, I want to play the hero. Um, yeah, because it would maybe if like even if there was one that we wrote and my friend wrote it with a really strong hero role, but I read the villain role and it's like like I would love to do this. I would love to portray this lady. Like we could make her so cool, so like so many layers. Like I probably would go for that.
no, no, definitely. I mean, for me, it's especially like in indie films. Like I'm like the minute they start pitching, like, hey, you're gonna get killed off. I'm like, dude, let's do it. Not because I don't want to work, but it's just like for me, it's like, okay, you know what? Like it just, especially now, like I mean, I do get a lot of gigs. I mean, I am able to go out there and actually, come out on a couple of big films. But it's like, I mean, I still jump on a lot of indies, and it's all about availability. Because one of the things I'll
Mhm.
say this, when I first started, like a lot of the directors, a few of them, they would like if you said no, like from what I heard, they would like stop working with you.
Yeah, they
And so
wouldn't work with you at all.
yeah, so it's like that was always my fear in the beginning because I was like, man, I want to work with everybody. I started working with a
Yeah.
whole bunch of directors, and so like the first time I had to say no, I felt bad, and it didn't happen. So I was like, cool, it was just, but I just wasn't available. But it's like, I mean, I want to help everybody, but yeah, I'm already doing something else or just even busy, because I got to work too. But it was always like in the back of my head, like I don't want to say no. Even now, like I mean, I don't submit to something unless I know I'm gonna be there because I keep
Yeah.
hearing like, you say yes and then you don't show up, then yeah, it's not a
Yeah,
good.
I know. Well, some of the problems that I've run into with like the indie postings in particular, or things like when I was newer and was submitting to, is they wouldn't post the shoot dates.
Yeah,
And so then I'm like, I would, when I was younger and I'm trying to book as much, I would book it and they'd be like, we want to offer you this role. And then they would send the shoot dates. And I was like, well, I'm not available for these. Like, if you had posted them in the beginning, I would have never applied for it because I knew that I was unavailable. So yeah, we run into that problem quite a bit. So yeah, I'm kind of on the same page now where I don't submit to anything unless I see the work dates.
right. And I mean, I know you earlier you said it's not about the pay, it's about the experience, but I mean also, I mean, especially if you're driving outside the city, I mean, gotta be compensated, right?
Yes. However, that being said, I've done several things where I've had to fly to other places, and like my net profit is not much, but like the enjoyment of just doing all of it, the exposure is to me totally worth it.
No, yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, I've been outside
Yeah.
the state as well, and it's cool. I'm like, heck yeah. I mean, they pay for the flight and the room, and I'm like, all right, as long as you do that and
Well,
feed me, I'm good, man.
well, that's nice for you. No, I paid for my own stuff.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But no, but I'm glad they did that for you. One day
Yeah,
I'm hoping maybe for me.
yeah. But I got offered one where they were like, hey, if you can fly out here, and I'm considering it because I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I want to film locally. I mean, I want to be able to come home and sleep on my own bed, but if there's opportunities, and it's like you said, if it's a script that I'm like that I like, and I'm like, yeah, I want to be a part of that, then by all means, because yeah, I mean, there's stuff that I've said no to, and it's just like there's things that I won't do, but definitely read the script and look at the dates, make sure everything's
Mhm.
works for me and my job because I'll say this and I'll give them props because they're cool with me missing work, so I just
Mhm.
gotta give them a heads up, and they're like, yeah, just let us know when you're coming back, and I'm like, all right. So
Yeah.
thank them because they allowed this to happen, so I'm grateful.
Yeah. That's very nice. That's
Oh, yeah.
very nice.
Now, let me ask you, when it comes to films, I mean, if there was an opportunity to work with your favorite actor or actress, like who would it be? Like, say if they were like, hey, you know what, this year you get this opportunity, like who would you want to work with?
Um, I don't know that there would be a particular actor or actress that I would want to work with. I really, even if it's background, I do not care. I really want to work on a Christopher Nolan film.
Oh, nice.
Any way, even if it's background, I will stand there for 12 hours to work on a Christopher Nolan film. Hands down.
They're probably listening.
Yeah.
No, and that's cool. I mean, is that because you're a fan? I mean, obviously, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he does a really good job. Like he knows what he wants to do. I think him using trying not to use CGI is huge. I think CGI became such a crutch for everybody. And you just honestly, I don't like how it looks. Like unless it's very high quality CGI, it's a huge turnoff. Like I could be watching something and I look at it and like, oh, that looks so fake. It's just a huge turnoff. Especially whenever you see what they were able to, like filmmakers were able to accomplish without CGI. It's like it takes away part of that creativity, I think. And so I know that, like Oppenheimer and I believe the new one coming out, the Odyssey, he just doesn't like to use much CGI in it, and it really, really, really shows. It looks fantastic. And so it's just like, and then, especially I think whenever I saw Oppenheimer and I went in knowing there was no CGI, and in the beginning there's a lot of like particle scenes, and so I like was in awe because I'm sitting there trying to figure out how on earth you're shooting these scenes, so it's just like it adds, I think, to the viewership. So I think that's why I really appreciated the work.
No, I mean, once again, I agree because there's a lot of work. Like, I mean, I grew up in the '80s, but I mean, we didn't have cable growing up, so we used to watch a lot of reruns,
Yeah,
black and white, silent films, like a lot of classics. And I'm grateful because it was just like raw. There was nothing. Everything they used was a prop, and they had
hmm,
to. I mean, they used what they had back then, of course, as well.
yeah,
But I grew up with that mentality where I'm like, man, I want to, even if a person wearing a mask, or we're going to build a robot and let's use cardboard boxes and paint it and let's just do what we can, but I'd rather go that route than go CGI. I mean, I
yeah,
know I've seen indie films where it's a great storyline, the actors are great, and then you see this Atari figure coming out and you're like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
You're like, oh
Like,
no, no.
and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, obviously there's a budget, but yeah, it's kind of one of those things. And I'm not gonna lie, like I do enjoy low budget films, so mostly because of the creativity. Because yeah, you have to be creative to see a box, a yarn, and a ruler, and be okay. We're gonna make a movie. It's what we have.
Yeah,
Let's make it
yeah,
happen. So I give them that. So yeah, those that are doing that, but by all means, keep making. But I mean, there's stuff that I watch and it's not for me, including horror. There's some horror films that I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad they made it, but it wasn't for me,
yeah.
maybe for the next guy, and I'll still share it and let somebody else enjoy it. But it's kind of, it goes back to like the whole being able to say no to scripts or opportunities, because it's like, hey, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't watch horror at all. I do not like it one bit. Which is funny because I've been in a couple horror things, but it's
Yeah.
definitely different when you're filming it as opposed to when you're watching it. So I'm always like, oh, and people are like, oh, you don't like horror? I'm like, nope, it's okay. It's not for me.
You see, well, and yeah, I mean, because I think the work that you did here locally, I mean, of course, there was a lot of blood. There was a lot of, so something like that. I mean, was it uncomfortable?
No,
Oh,
no, no. It's always a process getting things applied to your face,
yeah.
especially whenever you're trying to match skin tone. But no, not really, not uncomfortable. I don't think I've done any project where I've had to either wear something or have some sort of prosthetic that was uncomfortable. So
Okay.
far, knock on some wood.
They're listening. They're gonna be like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
they're
listen."
gonna be like, oh, we're gonna put her in something crazy uncomfortable for
Oh, yeah.
12 hours next time.
No, no, for sure. Well, I mean, you don't like horror, so what's your go-to genre? Like when you're home, I mean, do you just put on?
So I really enjoy sci-fi. Right now I'm on kind of like a comedy kick, mostly I think because it's something that you can easily put on and not really have to focus on too much, especially if I've been working or whatever. You don't always want to come home and watch something incredibly serious. So mostly I would say my first go-to would be like a sci-fi. I watched and have watched a lot of like the Star Wars, the Lord of the Rings. Uh, oh, other ones just blew out of my head. Whatever. And then, but I was watching like the comedy, a lot of like British comedy recently. If you've ever seen IT Crowd, that one's like a mid 2000s one that I enjoy. So,
Yeah,
and
cool.
again, you don't have to focus too terribly on it. So, yeah,
Yeah, you see, and that's one of the things too. Because let me ask you, are you a fan of the X-Files?
I've not seen it.
No? Okay. Well, the reason I was asking is because they're supposed to like rebrand it or redo it or
Mhm.
And I was just curious because I was like, well, maybe, maybe there's something there, who knows?
No, the show that I watched that was kind of like it, whatever, was Supernatural. And
Oh,
so if you've heard of that one, that one's very long. It's 15 seasons. So
yeah.
that was the one that I mostly watched.
Well, since we're on that subject, is there a series out there that you have not watched that you probably won't go to?
That I will not go to, like that I won't watch.
Yes.
Um, oh, that's hard because there's several that I haven't seen, but I plan to see. I was just waiting for like the last season to come out. Um, honestly, it may be X-Files just because I may never get to it. I don't feel like a super strong urge to watch it, so I may never get to it.
No.
Yeah, I think that's it on the popular ones. Because yeah, there's several like I was saying that I haven't seen. Like I've never seen Stranger Things. And the reason why I didn't get into that one was I knew they took so long to put out the seasons. So I just wanted to wait for the last season so that I didn't finish whatever, forget about it, or be like so pumped and then have to wait years and years and years and years and years for them to produce it.
Yeah.
So it's like that. And then what was the other one? The House of the Dragon one, I think.
Okay.
I'm waiting for them to finish that one before I watch too.
You see, I was asking because, like, for me, like, I haven't watched The Walking Dead. I haven't watched Stranger
Oh
Things.
yeah.
I
I've
haven't
never
watched,
seen that either.
yeah, like Supernatural. Like, I haven't seen it. Like, I've seen
Yeah.
clips and I've seen and I'm like, okay, it looks great, but
Yeah.
it's like one of those, like, if I get to it,
Yeah.
my fear is because there's so many, like, if it's 2 series or three, like, I'm like, dude, I'll knock it out in one day. But it's like, because it's that long, I know I'm gonna forget, and I don't want to get up to like four, and then I never see it again, and it's just like it'll eat me up inside it. I don't want to live like that.
Very fair, very fair. I will say with Supernatural, because it was originally intended to only be a 5-season series, the first 5 seasons flow together very well. And then I think you start getting a little more splotchy with the
No,
additional 10
yeah,
extra seasons.
actually, the ones that I've seen that I don't like, the Dahmer one, like I started watching it and I lost interest. The
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy, I think I saw 2 episodes and then I lost interest, and it's just like, okay, like I'm never gonna see him again. I can honestly say that because I just,
Yeah.
I don't think I can sit through them. But it's just like,
Yeah.
The Walking Dead, I really wanted to, and it's just like I just feel like I lost. Like I'm like, damn, it's just I waited too long, and now it's like still there, but I just probably will never be able to get to it. But we'll see one day. Maybe I'm stuck in a room for days. And can't leave, and
You got The Walking Dead to watch.
yeah, I get to watch all of them. But of course, if you had an opportunity to jump on a series, is there one that you would want to jump on?
Oh, right now, I really, really, really want to be on Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Really?
God, yes.
Yeah, cool. I can see that.
That
That's
would
not
be so much fun. Is it likely to happen? No, but it would just be so much fun.
No, I mean, well, you see, and that's one of the things, because in the beginning, like, people would ask me, like, hey, how do you get into it? And I would tell them, and I'm like, dude, just start showing up. Just,
Yeah,
there's always auditions, always looking for extras. But if you say you're gonna go, like, show up.
yeah,
The more
you
they
have
see
to.
you, yeah, the more they see you and they can see you coming back, they're gonna be like, man, let's put this guy in the film. Just give him a dialogue. Let's do something. But it's always opportunity, it's always availability, and being able to go out there and perform, of course, because you're supposed to be an actor, right, actress, and go out there and do what you do. But I'm looking forward to what's coming for you, though. I mean, that's interesting that you kind of just jumped on this, and like you're riding the wave and saying, hey, let's see how much more you can grow, and of course experience gain.
Yeah,
So I'm curious. That's gonna be interesting. If I
I think
see
it's
you,
gonna be
if I
fun.
see you on Star Trek, like I'll watch the series. I'll say that if you make it, I'll be like, I'm gonna sit through this. I'm gonna watch the whole thing.
I think I would just post my little clip. It'll be like a clip of me running down a hallway, and that's all. That's it. You don't have to watch anything else. Just me running down this hallway.
Put it in
Probably
slow
won't have a
motion.
red shirt on. I'll be killed. We'll make do.
Put it in slow motion. It'll make a 30-second clip. Be like, yeah,
Yeah, I'll run it
15 minutes.
forwards, backwards,
That's it.
and yeah,
But you know what? Talking about earlier, we were talking about, as far as vertical films, because it seems to be that the reels are the ones that are getting a lot of hits.
they
A
get a
lot of
lot of
people.
hits.
And so, but when it comes to like the film, it's just like podcast episodes, because people are like, oh, they don't want to sit through like an hour, and they'd rather watch the
The
clips you put
clip.
on there, and
Mhm.
those are
Mhm.
the ones that are making it. So is that something that you're looking to start doing yourself? I mean, not just through films or projects, but just yourself, like actually doing dialogue and just putting
Oh,
stuff
like
out.
content creating?
Right.
No. Again,
Okay.
I would have to be creative to do that, and I'm not creative in that aspect. Um, yeah, I wish I was, but I'm not. Like there's a couple people, because I do the YouTube shorts that I look at, and I watch their clips and I'm like, God, these people are so creative. Like I would never think I wouldn't even, if you're like, you need to make me an 8 second skit right now, I'd be like, I don't even know where to start. Like, because comedy pulls. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to watch an 8 second dramatic thing,
No,
unless you're slapping somebody. And so it's like I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know where to start.
I
I
know.
honestly, I think I'd go straight for a cat video. like, like I don't even know. No, and that's what the thing is, like, most, because when you're talking about like these reels that I post on Facebook and stuff, whenever I've posted them, you can see how long, you can see, the analytics, you can see how long people are watching it. And people typically won't watch more than 8 seconds.
Yeah.
That's just typically how it is, unless it really is. I think one of the ones I posted that got like 2.7 million views or some shit like that, was 20 seconds, but it's 20 seconds of high drama of like this girl shoving food in my face, me slapping her, like all sorts of stuff is going on. So it's 20 seconds of high drama. But yeah, mostly people, like, if you're trying to post a scene, they don't watch it. They want the 8 seconds, and they want the 8 most dramatic seconds you've got. And
No, yeah.
so that's really how it works these days.
No, 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 it's true. I mean, because I study it. I even go through those, and I'm thinking, and I'm just like you. Like, I'm thinking, like, damn, why can't I have a sense of humor, man? Like, I can't even freaking do a funny, like, go out there and do something where people are going to be like, oh man, I'm going to follow this guy, but those people that they can do it, obviously, I mean, they're doing it. And there's a lot of funny stuff out there. I know a while back, like somebody had posted, like, if you post stuff that you do on a daily, you'll never run out of content.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, that makes sense. But then I'm like, dude, what I do on a daily sucks. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I just don't do anything great that I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna put that on there. But it's, like I said, I mean, it just seems because a lot of these videos that go viral, like once they get one, they stress out trying to do the next one, and it's just, you
It's
know,
rough.
yeah,
It's
like it's
rough.
like,
But
yeah,
it's,
you're gonna. It's,
yeah, yeah, yeah. For content creation, yeah. For what I was posting, it was about hitting the algorithm just right. So
yeah,
like one of my first videos that finally that like spiked my follower count from like 3,000, I think, to 35,000 in like a
nice.
couple of days. The video that it did had I had posted, it had been posted for 3 months.
Oh wow.
Um and it just there was something about it that hit the algorithm right, but also that vertical that it came from that I did was popular on Flow, which is the streaming app,
Okay.
for like 6 months. It was even longer than that, I think. Because I feel like we shot that in July, and if you know anything about the verticals, man, they're editing what you shot the previous day on set the next day. Like they're actively editing it as you shoot it.
Oh
And so
yeah.
they crank these things out within like 2 or 3 weeks after you've shot it. And it was like a full 6 months. And if you went on their app, they were still advertising the one that we had done in the very top banner. Like it
Yeah.
was still constantly, it was just that popular. So I think that's what also happened when it hit the algorithm, right? Is everybody was looking for this.
Yeah.
So it was like, huh.
No, yeah, because I think I had one video and I hadn't realized it till one day I was just looking at the count and I was like, oh crap, it was like a 1.5 million, and I was like, what the
Mm.
world? And it was just like some random video that I posted, like a review of all things, and I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, like okay, like I don't know what happened, but it picked
Yeah.
it up and it just went crazy. But I mean, that's the thing, that you never know. I mean, it's organic. I mean, I know there's people
Yeah.
always trying to say they know how, but good for them if they do, But yeah, I mean, but my thing is just being able to, post and keep going.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. You're
yeah,
never truly gonna figure out the algorithm. You think
No.
you might, and it's just one of the things that's constantly evolving. You're not going to figure it out.
No, no. I mean, for those that are trying, then good for them. But
Yeah.
Kelsey, I don't want to let go, and I don't want to say goodbye. But I want to thank you for jumping on this. Like I stated, I mean, I do want to bring you back, though. I mean, I know you've been busy, and I know maybe after the feature is
Yeah.
released, or we can talk
Yeah.
about it.
Because then I can talk about it. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
We were supposed to have already shot it, actually. The dates keep changing. So hopefully, yeah, afterwards we're done with it, because it's going to be it's going to be very interesting. I really, really enjoy the script a lot. Actually, after we get done with this, I have a table read for it. So
Oh, okay.
again, so I think afterwards, I think it would be perfect, because then there's all sorts of tidbits maybe we could share.
And we'll do it, and hopefully it'll hit the algorithm, and we go, we hit millions. We'll see. But I do thank you for jumping on this, and don't hang up yet, though. Everybody out there, of course, once again, Spider here, Coming Soon podcast. As always, follow up,